York City mayor's office is under fire after Zoran Mamdani's international affairs commissioner reportedly made plans to meet with Iran's UN ambassador earlier this week.
Think about that. Mamdani, who's been the mayor of New York for a couple months, has decided it is upon him to go talk to a combatant right now. While hardworking New Yorkers are fighting crime, paying these insane rents for his stuff, and watching their city crumble day after day, Mamdani's international affairs commissioner thought it was fine to schedule a secret meeting with the Iranian United Nations ambassador. Let that sink in. We are in some sort of conflict, if you don't want to call it war. We're in some sort of conflict with Iran, and the mayor of a city decides they're going to go ahead and meet with our enemy. Not a big leap here. They're going to meet with the same regime that funds terrorism, screams death to America, has threatened to assassinate President Trump. And these city bureaucrats who have no authority, none whatsoever, to conduct foreign policy, they have no business even sitting down with a hostile regime, and they were going to go meet with them. If it weren't for the U.S. State Department stepping in, they would have sat down and met with Iranian officials while we are engaged with them. The State Department had to call Mamdani's team in for a disciplinary talk. That disciplinary talk should have ended up in handcuffs.
Timing could not have been worse. And the New York Post reporting this: the scheduled meeting would have unfolded after Iranian troops fired missiles at 2 commercial ships traversing the Strait of Hormuz, an action Monday in direct defiance of an interim peace agreement between the U.S. and Iran. Mayor Mamdani was asked about this at a news conference today. Watch.
That meeting did not take place. It will not take place. And I did not know about it until
It's your job to know about it. You know, the whole buck stops here. That's not going to work. I didn't know anything about it. So you've got people in your regime that are doing things against America that you don't even know anything about. That's what you're trying to tell the American people? That's the excuse? When you filled your office with all these radical ideologues, with all these Democrat socialists, whatever that means, who think that New York is their personal playground, this is what happens. And Mamdani now, he got caught. He got caught, and now he's got to rein in these people. And I think he owes America, and definitely owes New York, an apology. He was elected to fix the city, not play Secretary of State. Nobody is telling you how badly the rules have been broken. Foreign policy has and must stay in Washington. Everyone is talking about the canceled meeting, but almost nobody is talking about how close it came to actually happening.
There's a press inquiry regarding it. And when it comes to the work of our commissioner and our international affairs office, it's to ensure that as we are a city of the world, that we are also there to meet with leaders from across the world. The focus is always on our city and our relationship.
Notice he didn't say America. You can be a, quote, city of the world, whatever the hell that means. But they got the State Department, just so you know, has everything. They have the calendar invites. They have it all. They know what this commissioner, I believe her name was Anna Maria. That was her name, or that is her name, actually. Anna Maria. Anna Maria Achila. She set it up with the Iranian ambassadors. Do these people not know everything is being surveilled? You don't think that we are engaged with an enemy, that every communication these people make, they could fart and we'll know how much it smells? And they had the audacity to go ahead and contact these people at the United Nations and say, hey, let's go ahead and hook up. Just 3 days after Iran fired on commercial ships. This is insane. And he's not explaining anything. This changes everything. Every city commissioner in America now may think they can do the same thing. Hey, screw Trump, screw Rubio. Let's cut our own deals with Russia or Ukraine or Iran. Every enemy government now sees a back door. Every ally is watching and wondering what's going on in Mamdani's office. He's telling everybody he didn't know until the press actually asked him. His own commissioner, he's telling us, didn't even tell him. She scheduled it. No, they got caught. They got caught red-handed, and they got ordered to cancel only because the State Department found out on its own.
The Commissioner recognizes that this was made an error, and we're working on a new process in terms of new meeting requests.
You don't have a process. That's just it. We're going to work on a new process. No. You go ahead and handle New York City and all of the international stuff, especially with people we're fighting with. You're going to have to go through Marco Rubio. You do not have that autonomy. Man, this is absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. While they're trying to assassinate President Trump, while they're attacking ships, you got some radical loon here trying to go backdoor and talk to Iran. Can anybody say Logan Act?
A new process? What about competence? Well, this comes as the Wall Street Journal reports Israel warned the U.S. that Iran hatched a new plan to assassinate President Trump. Iran has repeatedly vowed to retaliate against our president for ordering the killing of Iran's Revolutionary Guard General Qasem Soleimani. President Trump reiterated that this week.
They've been in trouble for 47 years. And we took out their first set of leaders. We took out their second set of leaders. They want to take out the U.S. leader, me. I'm on every list. I saw things this morning. I'm on every single one of their lists. And so far, I guess I've been a little bit lucky, but that maybe doesn't last very long.
Now, remember last week when we watched that? We all watched it together. We're like, why is President Trump saying this? Why is he saying, hey, listen, they're going to try and kill me. I'm on the top of their list. I know I'm the big prize. Hey, let me go ahead and change airplanes. Let me do all this stuff. Because they probably already knew the back channel stuff was happening. I bet he knew at that point that they understood that the Mamdani team was trying to meet with the Iranians. And so they stepped up the threat. Hey, they're trying to kill me. They're trying to assassinate the President of the United States. They are definitely enemies. What happens when you start coordinating with enemies of America? Did Mamdani just walk head on into a trap? You got to be asking yourself right now, because every one of us, when President Trump said that, like, why would he be saying that? Because he was letting everybody know, hey, I'm the big target. They want to kill me. I'm an American president. Maybe you might not want to be knocking on doors with Iran. See, America deserves better. We want America to be put first. Mamdani barely mentions it. And as you said, I said earlier, mayors do not have any foreign policy in their toolbox. They can't do it. So now we need to hold these people accountable every single frickin' day.
The president told the Post today, quote, I've left instructions, if anything happens, to just literally bomb them at levels that they've never seen before.
A planned, now squelched meeting between a senior official for New York City's mayor, Zoran Mamdani, and Iran's ambassador to the United Nations. The State Department now says it stepped in to cancel that meeting. CB Cotton is live in New York City with more. CB.
Hey, John. So after the State Department reportedly stepped in to clarify acceptable conduct, we're told that it was Mayor Mamdani who ultimately called off the meeting between his Commissioner for International Affairs, Ana Maria Archila, and Iran.
Oops. Trap set. A couple of people wrote some things about this who are much more eloquent than me, and I want to bring your attention to that. One of them is a man named Tony Saruga. He goes, Mamdani isn't a bug. He's the feature. He's the gift that keeps on giving, the political arsonist who just handed Trump the matches and a signed confession. While the country is at war, this man is out here cosplaying as a statesman by openly caucusing with the enemy. Beautiful. He's not merely useful, he's legendary. The man single-handedly building the legal runway for Trump to designate large swaths of the Democrat apparatus as unlawful enemy combatants. Whoa. They walked headfirst into it. When they all start crying and they all been saying everything about Trump's not going to allow the midterms, they're doing it to themselves. They're the ones who are going to cause, if it's going to happen, there to be no midterms. You're out there nuzzling up with the enemy. What do you expect President Trump to do? It says, think about it. Democrats didn't just fumble national security. They spiked the ball for the other team, flooding the zone with Iran-friendly propaganda, platforming every anti-American narrative their media auxiliaries could churn out, then flinging the southern border wide open like it was happy hour at an insurgent recruitment center. Sanctuary cities, more like forward operating bases with better brunch options. They didn't break the law. They repealed it and then invited the world's worst guest to squat in the ruins. Now, when you hear this and this stuff is starting to come, I got a video I'm going to show you, and you're going to go, oh my gosh. The coincidence of the video I'm going to show you is going to make your head spin. It is literally going to make you go, wait, we're going to get to it. It says, most Americans still have no idea how far gone things are. This isn't politics anymore. This is a zero-sum knife fight between the American people and a coalition of communist cosplayers, globalist grifters, and imported muscle who genuinely believe the United States is the final boss standing between them and their utopia. Remember, most of these people have gone on video and they've gone out there and said, we want to overturn America. And I got to believe that Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth and President Trump have got a catalog of these people going, oh my God, are they really this stupid? Are they really this idiotic that you would be putting all this on videotape for everybody in the world to see and then having no bones about it? And then you're electing these people and you're putting them in our government. So when the women, the two women from Brooklyn or whatever, they got in, hey, I wiped my butt with the flag. Cool. Glad we know. Every day we shook our heads like, how could this be happening? Maybe, just maybe, the trap has been set and they walked right into it. Continue. And if you think Donald Trump lacks the stones for what comes next, you haven't been paying attention. The stage has been set with surgical patience. The military understands the assignment. The constitutional authorities are dusted off and loaded. Trump has been telling us for years that he'll use every lever of commander-in-chief power available, and Mamdani and his friends didn't just cross the Rubicon. They built a 5-lane highway, installed toll booths, and started directing traffic while wearing enemy flags as capes. Thank you for your service, gentlemen. Couldn't have done it without you. Wow.
UN Ambassador Amir Saeed Iravani. Archila was reportedly reprimanded for the move, but the fact that the meeting was even considered continues to raise eyebrows, including from U.S. Ambassador Mike Waltz, who reacted today on Sunday Morning Futures.
It would have been a huge propaganda victory for the Ayatollah in the middle of a conflict, as they're not only shooting at Americans, but they're shooting at global shipping. And we're doing everything we can to keep them internationally isolated. It's outrageous, and we shut it down.
So Mamdani, when addressing the controversy this week, said he didn't know about the meeting in advance. He also said it was the Iranian ambassador who requested the meeting and that his team is now working on new protocols.
Wait a minute. So the Iranian, you're saying, approached you. So at that point, you did know. If you knew that they approached you, then at that point you should have told your entire staff, nobody take any meetings with these people. And by the way, I've got to call the White House. I've got to let them know that they're trying to contact us. He didn't do it. He didn't do any of that.
The commissioner recognizes that this was made an error, and we're working on a new process in terms of new meeting requests. Again, this was a request that came into the office, not one that originated from the office.
These people are masters at saying things that don't mean anything. It came to the office, but we didn't know about the office because we weren't in the office. Bottom line is, the woman in your office who you appointed, who you now want to give a raise to like $250,000, was trying to make nice with the Iranians. Let's just call it what it is. You got caught with your pants down, and now your lawyers are telling you you're in trouble, big trouble.
Okay, so the timing of the attempted meeting comes when President Trump has repeatedly said he is #1 on Iran's, quote, kill list.
Coincidence? Notice how the lady at Fox News here mentions the exact same thing President Trump did. It comes at the same time as President Trump has been telling everybody that he's the #1 target on the kill list. Okay, let's go over to, talk to the Iranians while Trump's, no, you can't do that. Oh my gosh. Could they have been more stupid?
And Israel recently shared intelligence with Trump about an Iranian plot to assassinate him, according to a Wall Street Journal report.
All right. Now, our boy Clandestine, we always talk about him. He had a beautiful one here. This here, again, when you see what I'm going to show you, you're going to shake your head and go, there's no way. Who's choreographing this movie? Spielberg couldn't write this. All right, so let's look at this. I think Mamdani might end up being the best thing that ever happened to us. Why? Because he is openly collaborating with our enemies in wartime. He is paving the way for Trump to declare the Democrats as unlawful enemy combatants. Can you imagine if the entirety of the Democrat Party would be declared an enemy combatant operation? All of them. All of them who are embracing the socialists, who are embracing the communists, who are saying basically through proxy, death to America. If you're laying down with these fleas, you're a dog infested. If you're not trying to push these people away, you are complicit. There's no other way around it. Oh, we got a big tent. You got a big tent full of traitors. And if you got a big tent full of traitors and you're not doing anything about it, you're complicit. He says the Dems are collaborating with our direct enemies in wartime, and that's not even mentioning aiding and abetting our enemies with their consistent stream of anti-American and pro-Iran MSM propaganda and disinformation. Also, the Democrats refuse to enforce U.S. law. Besides that, they won't defend our borders. They're allowing our enemies, insurgents, to walk across our border, in which the Dems harbor them in, quote, sanctuary cities. I always felt that calling something a sanctuary city was going to come back to haunt these people. You let all these people cross the border. You weren't paying attention to what you were doing. They were killing people in our country. They were stealing billions of dollars. What would you call it? You'd have to call it an insurgency. You'd have to call it that, which tells me they also know already who got these people hooked up to steal all this money. So you let people cross the border. You're saying basically death to America, death to Israel. You're wearing stuff. You're saying we need to collapse the entire country. We need to kill Trump. All of this going on, and everybody sits back and goes, oh, this is normal. Not normal. It says well over 99% of people have no idea just how severe our situation is. This is a zero-sum game between the American people and communist globalist insurgents seeking to overthrow this nation from within. And if anyone thinks Trump doesn't have the stones to do something about it, you are mistaken. The process, this is important, the process is already underway. What he should have said was the process has been underway for quite some time. Trump and the United States military have been setting the stage the entire time. Trump is going to save this nation, and he told us many times he's willing to use his full array of powers as the commander-in-chief to do it. So I want to show you a video that Clandestine put in his post, and it just made me go, oh, no, this is too much. So I want to take you back to when somebody was talking at a hearing about certain people being enemy combatants. And what do we do with enemy combatants? Can the president just take action on his own? Well, as soon as I click the button here, you're all going to go, oh, shit.
When somebody says post 9/11 that we've been at war and it's called the war on terrorism, do you generally agree with that concept?
Lindsey effing Graham. And this testimony right here that goes way back when Brett Kavanaugh was being, at his hearings, confirmation hearings, Lindsey Graham, the guy so many people hate, was setting this up. And I gotta believe Brett Kavanaugh is smart enough to realize, I know where you're going with this. So I'm going to answer these questions, and these idiots around us have no clue what you're doing. I think I know where you're headed, Lindsey.
I do, Senator, because Congress passed the authorization for use of military force, which is still in effect. And that was passed, of course, on September 14th, 2001, 3 days later.
Let's talk about the law in war. Is there a body of law called the law of armed conflict?
There is such a body, Senator.
Is there a body of law that's called basic criminal law?
Yes, Senator.
Are there differences between those two bodies of law?
Yes, Senator.
From an American citizen's point of view, do your constitutional rights follow you? If you're in Paris, does the Fourth Amendment protect you as an American from your own government?
From your own government, yes.
Okay. So if you're in Afghanistan, do your constitutional rights protect you against your own government?
If you're an American in Afghanistan, you have constitutional rights as against the U.S. government.
Is there a long-standing...
That's long settled law.
Isn't there also a long settled law that it goes back to the Eisentrager case? I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, Johnson versus Eisentrager.
Right.
That's when Brett Kavanaugh knew. Lindsey was playing his Eisentrager or whatever, yeah, and he names the case. At that point, he was able to recall the exact case that Lindsey brought up. You're looking at a dead man coming back to life just as all this stuff is happening. Now, earlier I said I wasn't going to engage in the conspiracy theories, which I still am not, but you have to admit as you watch what happens next here, whoa. On the day he dies, this comes out and Trump's talking.
That American citizens who collaborate with the enemy have considered enemy combatants.
They can be. They can be. They're sometimes criminally prosecuted, sometimes treated in the military.
Well, let's talk about...
Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes they're criminally prosecuted, and other times they're prosecuted by the military. Oh, okay. Please continue.
Can be. I think
under Supreme Court precedent.
Right. There's a Supreme Court decision that's...
and there's a Supreme Court decision already. You see the buttons being, we're closing this up. There's going to be nowhere for you to go. There's already Supreme Court precedent on enemy combatants. This could be coming together better. None of us could write this script, especially when you realize now that this script was being written years ago. When everybody talks about the biggest conspiracy theory basically in politics right now, this is what they're talking about. We're not talking about how did Lindsey die. We're talking about something that 17th letter was giving people breadcrumbs all the way back. And now, front and center on the day this man dies, you're hearing him speak from the grave, and he's telling you what Trump has available.
Said that American citizens who collaborated with Nazi saboteurs were tried by the military. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I think a couple of them were executed.
Yeah.
Execution. Now you got my attention. Now you really have my attention. You should have their attention. You know, all these people, death to America. We're going to tear down the entire country. We're going to do away with the Electoral College. We're going to tear up the Constitution. We're going to get rid of the press. Oh, okay. Okay. What would you call those people? What would you call those people who openly say, we're going to take all your country down? I think they would qualify as enemy combatants.
So if anybody doubts, there's a long-standing history in this country that your constitutional rights follow you wherever you go, but you don't have a constitutional right to turn on your own government and collaborate with the enemy of the nation.
You don't have a constitutional right to turn around and collaborate with an enemy to the nation. When I heard that, I literally had goosebumps, thinking, there's no way. How did this happen? How did we get to this point right now? Forget the Section 8 stuff. Every one of you have got to be thinking, this is insane. You're telling me at Kavanaugh's hearing, because here's the other thing. At Kavanaugh's hearing, everybody who watched it was looking at this and going, what the hell does this have to do with the hearing? What the hell does this have to do with him being confirmed as a judge? Why are you talking about enemy combatants? Why are you even bringing it up? If you watched it, you may have thought that the same thing I did. Like, what the hell does this have to do with anything? They were laying a foundation the entire time. There's no other reason to be bringing this up.
You'll be treated differently. What's the name of the case, if you can recall, that reaffirmed the concept that you could hold one of our own as an enemy combatant if they were engaged in terrorist activities in Afghanistan? Are you familiar with that case?
Yeah, Hamdi.
Okay.
Nobody on, excuse me, what are we talking about here? Why are we even talking about this, Lindsay? Justice Kavanaugh, you had keg parties and you were like groping girls back in high school. I got your calendar here. And you guys are talking about enemy combatants, and everyone's like, what the hell are you talking about? And here we are in 2026 on the day that this man dies, and how much, with everything going on, with what we're seeing, how appropriate is this conversation?
So the bottom line is, I want every American citizen to know you have constitutional rights, but you do not have a constitutional right to collaborate with the enemy. There's a body of law well developed long before 9/11 that understood the difference between basic criminal law and the law of armed conflict. Do you understand those differences?
I do understand.
So if this comes back in front of you, let's say, I don't know, in 10 years or so, a case comes before you and you got all this precedent, you're going to take your notes. You understand what we just talked about. You know the case, don't you? I know the case. Okay, so you're ready when we're ready to pull the pin. I didn't say it. Lindsay said it. So you're familiar with the case. I know it, yeah. Okay.
They're different bodies of law, of course, Senator.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I watched that. I watched it again with you guys. You guys watch it. You may have to rewind it. And at the same time as you're rewinding it, you filed all this information in the back of your head that Mamdani is out there working with, or tried to work with, the Iranians, and his people are out there. Death to America. I wipe my butt with the flag. I don't care about America. We need to tear America down. Can you imagine the body of evidence that they're collecting at this point? All of the things that they've been saying for years. We got to take everything up. We got to destroy capitalism. All the stuff that they've been saying. We got to defund the police. We got to get rid of ICE. We got to let all these. And I'm thinking, now they've got all that. Maybe that's why they're complaining. Well, he might stop the election. Yeah, he might. He might just put your all asses in jail in Gitmo. We don't know how this thing is going to turn out, but I just find it eerie. On the day that man died, this surfaces today about enemy combatants. When we all saw it, we all knew what had happened. We watched the hearing, but we didn't file it away just to reach back and pull it. And today, it makes more sense than it did when they had that conversation. So go ahead. Keep telling death to America. Keep trying to go backdoor to Iran. Ignore the Logan Act. Tell everybody you want to destroy America. Tell everybody you want to take it down. Tell everybody you want to wipe the flag with wipe your butt with the flag. Tell everybody that. Please continue. No one's going to save you. You're going to incriminate yourselves. And they're going to come up with free speech and everything else, but it's going to be kind of hard when the commander-in-chief who says, hey, they're all trying to kill me, you know. Did you guys find that funny? Did you find it weird that the President of the United States would reiterate a few times, even on foreign soil, they're trying to kill me? So if they're trying to kill him, then even talking to these people would make you an enemy combatant. And in any event, you're going to have to deal with the people at Gitmo in a military tribunal. This isn't even for a judge. If and when, we got to say if because we don't know what's going to happen, but if and when this happens, Katie, bar the door. No one is ready for what may happen. Mark Elias, all these people, Norm Eisen, who keep running the courts, these judges who have shown themselves to be enemies of America. I hope they got a whole lot of beds in Guantanamo, because this is going to be amazing. And to think about they don't have weapons. They don't, oh my goodness, this would be amazing. Stay tuned, same bat channel, same bat time, because we don't know what's coming next.